Hello, my name is Charis Mapson. I would like to talk to you today about some things that go on at FCI Aliceville, which is a federal institution for women. While I was there, my baby sister was there with me. She's 8 years younger than me. When we were there, guards tried to force my sister to have sex with them. They tried to rape her. They chased her. And they did that to me too. I stopped them several times. They threatened us with death. They threatened putting us in the SHU, which is, you might know it as like the hole or isolation, is common terms that most people know it by. But it's special segregated housing is the fancy term that they like to use for it. Well, they threatened to put us in the SHU, and they threatened to hang us and make it look like a suicide. This was done constantly for over a year. Finally got them to stop trying to actively rape my baby sister and me, but at the cost of so much, at the pain of so much. The guards there bragged about killing other women, about hanging them and making it look like a suicide. They bragged about it. This is something that goes on normally, day to day, while you're there. The guards there like to hide it. They like to put a sugar coat on it and make it sound like they're so nice and that they follow their program statement, which is nicely written so that you think that they're doing their job, that you think that they have morals, that you think that they have actual standards of codes of conduct that normal businesses would have. But the truth is they don't. Their administrative remedy process, oh yes, we tried that. We went through that. We faced further retaliation, actually, because of that. And they never helped us. Not once. I have a lawsuit in the court right now, actually, against several of the guards there, over 15 guards there in that prison, for what they did to me and my sister. This is real. This is what the women in there face every day. They face humiliation. You're told that you're garbage, that you're worthless, that you're not, that no one cares about you, that you should just go and die. Yeah, those are things you're told all the time. Food is withheld from you, and it's not like, oh, you can go out to the grocery store and get food like normal people can. No, you're not. You're completely at their mercy. There was times where they withheld food from me and my sister, so we starved for days on end. And they laughed about it. They thought it was funny. You know what their answers was when we begged and pleaded, please just let us go and get some food to eat? Well, you should have bent over and took it in the ass. That's what their answers were. Yeah. You know, I'm sorry, I had been having signs of cancer, of cervical cancer, and I had begged and pleaded for medical to do something to test or whatever, right? And they tested and it came back, oh yeah, you have cancer cells in there. And so I begged and pleaded because they're supposed to send you to an outside doctor to, get seen and further diagnosed and everything else, right? Well, I begged and pleaded, and you know what they said? They turned around and said, it was like, oh, well, you said you'd rather die than let us rape your sister, so you can go ahead and die and we can arrange that. Yeah. They stopped all medical care, all medical treatment. It took central office coming down and me begging and pleading with them and showing all of the electronic requests that I had sent, all of the documentation I sent for them to go and make FCI Aliceville staff take me to an outside hospital, which they did. They took me the following day because central office forced them to, because they had to save face. They had to make it look like they were doing something. Well, they took me, they did a biopsy. The doctor said, oh yeah, you definitely have it. Make sure you get and see the results yourself. Aliceville refused to let me see the results. I was supposed to go back in for another one a few months later. That didn't happen. It was over a year. And once again, I had to beg and plead to get them to. Then they went so far as to falsify my medical records and say I didn't have it. I know, because I finally got a copy of my medical records. And you can tell that they were altered. You can tell that they had whited out and copied and pasted and added other stuff into it. That's illegal. That's medical fraud. But they get away with it. They do it all the time. I'm not the only one that they do this to. They do it to a lot of girls, actually. I had to write emotion. My friend helped me write emotion just so I could get out to go to home confinement. I was supposed to have been at home confinement over a year ago. Only recently got there. Now actually seeing a doctor, getting it taken care of. It was a death sentence inside those walls, though, because I'm not the only one. I helped a girl go to medical. And every day, for a week straight, she went to medical complaining, saying she couldn't breathe. Every day. Every day. You know what they did? They yelled and screamed at her and called her a worthless piece of trash. And they sent her back to the pod. Every day. Well, she died that Friday from not being able to breathe. And you know what? She's not a drug addict. And you know what the guard did? He Narcaned her. He Narcaned her. Sent her under further cardiac arrest. And then when medical finally got there, their AEE, the little electronic device that's, supposed to zap your heart back to life. Yeah, the batteries were dead. They've been dead for over 2 years. I went around on the compound later that week, after I heard she had died. And I checked all of those devices. Yeah, they hadn't been serviced since 2022, some of them since 2018. It's 2025 right now. Well, no, I'm sorry. It was 2025 when she died. It's 2026 right now. It's pretty sad. I used to be certified, by the way, in that. Yeah, you're supposed to be serviced very often, not years. All their batteries are dead. They don't care. Why? Because you're just a number to them. You're just a dollar sign. You're not a human. You're not a person. You're just a dollar sign. I've had worms, actual worms, put in my food at the chow hall. And the kitchen staff laughed about it. The female inmate workers that are there apologized to me, coming up to me and telling me that they were sorry, that they were forced to put them in there by the guards. Otherwise, they would go to the SHU. That's the kind of stuff the guards do. They dehumanize you. They break you down. And then they force others to do it to you as well, so that it breaks them down. Rehabilitation? What's that? That doesn't happen inside those walls. That does not happen inside those walls. You have to fight to get into any classes. And when you do get in those classes, they're a literal joke. Here's a coloring sheet. Here, do a coloring sheet. Or, we really don't know what to do, so what do you guys think? Why don't you guys come up with stuff for it? That would be a guard staff saying that to you. Okay. Yeah, that's not rehabilitation. That's not a class. So they still have funding for it. You could have your high school diploma already, and they'll put it in the system that it's not, so that they can charge the government more and get more money for helping you to get your GED when you already had your high school diploma. Seen that happen. They tried doing that to me as well. They tried doing it to several girls. They actually tried doing it to a girl who had her master's degree. But these are the things they do. Because they steal the funding. They commit fraud all the time. They hurt the people in there. There was another girl. She had had surgery prior to at another facility and got transferred there. And she had been going to medical, complaining about pain. And they kept ignoring her, kept belittling her, yelling at her. Just send her back to the pod, tell her to drink water. So the night before she died, oh yes, that's right, she died. The night before she died, she went to medical with a pint of her blood that she had coughed up. She had it in a container. A pint of blood. I say cough, it's more like puke. She puked it up. And her stomach was in massive pain. You could tell she looked like on death's doorstep. Medical sent her back to her room, telling her to just go sleep it off. She died that night. She bled to death. She was due to be released really soon. Her kids will never see her again. She's dead. And you know what? The guards don't care. They laugh about it. They thought it was funny. They actually came and went and made jokes to all the pods, to all the female inmates, on how funny they thought it was. You know, one time I was in medical. I was waiting on dental, which is non-existent, because they're like, oh yeah, we'll see you, we'll schedule it, and then they schedule it way out, and they never see you. And over the radio, I heard, because there was one of the guards standing there, over the radio I heard, hanging in a shoe, hanging in a shoe. Some guards rush off to the shoe, because it's right there. You can see it right outside the windows of medical. You can watch it all happen, watch it all take place. They rush over there. Watch the warden, Warden Neely, by the way. That was her name, Warden Neely. Different warden now. No better, but yeah, they go through wardens like water. Warden Neely walks briskly over to the shoe. Just briskly, like she don't really care. And you hear over the radio, no stats. That means no vital signs. She's dead. Shortly afterwards, you see the warden coming out laughing so hysterically. She's having a hard time walking. She's laughing. She thinks it's funny. Just saw a dead body. Woman's hung. They tried to say it was suicide. Except 2 weeks later, the guards were bragging about how they killed her. How they hung her and made her look like a suicide. But those are the things. Those are the things you deal with. They say, oh no, we tried our best. No, they didn't. They don't try their best. In fact, they don't try their best to help you. No, they try their best to kill you. Psychology over there. That's a joke. My sister and I went over to psychology, begged and pleaded them, asked them for help. You know what they told me? I'm not qualified to help you. You're not qualified to help me? You're psychology. You're supposed to be a psychiatrist. You're supposed to be a certified psychiatrist, or at least a counselor. No. Nothing. They're a guard that applied for the job because they thought it sounded cool and they wanted more money. That's what they are. They can't help you. They refuse to get your outside medical records. In fact, actually, if you have your outside psychiatric records sent in, they will send it back saying they didn't request those. Even though it's directly from the actual doctor or the psychiatrist's office, they send it back, rejecting them because they didn't request them. Even though you've actually tried to have them request them over 4 times. They never actually sent it. I know because my sister and I did this. And when we had got in touch with our doctor's office, with the psychiatrist's office, they said they never received a request from there. Never received a request from BOP Aliceville. Even though that's their job to get that. Never did it. Instead, when we were like, well, can you just send it directly to medical? Can you send it directly to psychology? And they did. They sent a copy to each. They rejected them. Because they didn't request them. Well, we know you didn't request them because you never did your job. These are things that they do. There was other girls that I saw that the guards tried to rape. There was girls that they did rape. Those girls are too terrified of the retaliation. So they're beaten into submission. You know, everyone thinks that just because you went to federal prison, that means you're a bad person. Actually, no. Majority of those girls in there are actually innocent, which is really ironic and funny because you would think your government does their job right. You would think that, oh no, they don't have crooked DEA agents, they don't have crooked marshals or detectives or police officers. Really? Have you looked at the news lately? Because that's not the case. There was girls in there that because they reported human sex trafficking going on, because they had found out about it, they got arrested. I know, I read their paperwork. It literally says that they tried to stop it and tried to report it to the authorities. And the authorities kept ignoring them. The authorities actually arrested her and gave her 25 years because she tried to save a 13-year-old girl. Wow, yeah, that's corruption. She's serving time for saving a young teenager. They're not all bad. And they're still people. Some of them, yeah, they made a slight mistake. It happens. It's actually really easy to go fed. You think that those are the hardened criminals. That's not the case, actually. It's really not. It's extremely easy to go federal. You just don't realize it. Because they don't want you to know it. My sister and I, for example, our case went federal. We've never been in trouble before with the law before. Ever. Never been in trouble with the law. Never done anything illegal. None of that. You want to know the real reason why? They make us sound like monsters, but you want to know the real reason why we got arrested? Because we tried to stop the guy who had raped our niece. Our 5-year-old niece. That's why. We went to the police. We went to the feds. We went to all of them. Reported what he had did to her. Because our 5-year-old niece described it in great detail to us. What he had done. You know, I'm a victim of rape. I know what it's like. I know what it does to you. It happened to me as I was a child. So how do you look your 5-year-old niece in the eyes and say, I'm sorry that happened to you, sweetie. The authorities don't want to do anything. Oh well. Yeah, no. You don't. I'm a mom. Oh hell no. So we try to stop him. Scare him off. Make him leave her alone. Stay away from her. Because the sad, sick story is, that's her dad. I got sentenced to 10 years for trying to save my niece. 10 years. And while I was behind bars, me and my sister, we had death threats all the time towards us by the guards. Because lo and behold, they wanted to rape us. Why? Because they're pretty? Thanks. They wanted to rape my sister because she had a quote-unquote a nice ass. That's what they said. And they knew that she had mental disabilities. They wanted to rape me just out of spite of it because I wouldn't let them rape my sister. You know, I had a female guard corner me in the bathroom because I worked there at the recreation department and tried to force me to. Saying that if I didn't, I would never see the light of day again. I would never see my kids again. Or when they told me that we're hot on their radar because we reported them for it. And they're looking for any excuse to put us in the shoe and hang us and kill us. You know, it's really sad when you have to make a choice and a decision. Do you protect your little sister from getting raped by guards and risk never seeing your kids again? Because if you physically fight back, they'll charge you with assaulting an officer and you'll get more time. Do you know how hard it is to make a decision between never seeing your kids again and saving your sister from being raped? That'll tear you up inside. Destroys you. I raised my baby sister. And that's the things you go through when you're there. But the government doesn't care. You reach out for help, you ask for help. It doesn't come. You're left alone in a dark hole. And that's the reality of what it's like there. So you need your help. This can't keep going on. I'm not the only one this happened to. My sister's not the only one this happened to. This can't keep going on. I'm sorry. I told myself I wasn't gonna cry. The world needs to know, and this has got to stop. It has to. It can't keep continuing. You know, President Trump said that he wanted to root out all the corruption there. So root it out. Get rid of the corruption. Get rid of those abusers who would continue to do those things.